our savings series. So thank you to those of you who were able to come to part one. But if you weren't able to make it, don't worry, you are going to still learn plenty today. So we are going to be talking about, you're going to hear from some financial institutions that'll talk about some of the children's savings products that they have to offer and learn a little bit more about those. I'm Elizabeth Fries, and I'm an outreach coordinator at the Human Services Center. And just a few housekeeping items to go over before I turn it over to our presenters. We will be recording this webinar, so please stay on mute throughout the presentation, and you should feel free to utilize the chat throughout the webinar for any questions. There will also be time for questions where you're welcome to go off of mute and ask it out loud, or you can continue putting it in the chat, whichever you prefer. But other than that, please do stay muted. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Tony with Fund My Future, who is going to introduce our presenters for today.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome everyone. You are in for a treat this afternoon. I'm so happy that you're able to join us. I see, let's see, I do see one person that I know was here last week, and I know she's already heard about Fund My Future, but I want to check in with the other folks just to see where you're at, who heard about Fund My Future, or what brings you here if you haven't, you know, if you've never heard about Fund My Future. So I'm going to start in the order that I see folks on my screen here. We're going to go with Corbett. I see Corbett. And if you could just introduce yourself, that'll be great. Okay, we'll come back to Corbett.
You know, I did see in the chat that he's at work.
So I've not heard of Fund My Future in the past. Okay, Corbett has not heard about Fund My Future in the past. Great, so you're here to hear about Fund My Future as well. Serena, thank you, Corbett.
Hi, yeah, I actually have heard of Fund My Future, and I've met you many times, Miss Tony. I work for housing, so.
Okay, so are you enrolled?
And stuff. And,
are you enrolled in Fund My Future?
No, not yet.
All right, well, we're going to change.
But I want you to get our residents enrolled. But yeah, you've been at several of our events.
Okay, okay, great.
And I also saw you at the Family Support Center.
Wow, all righty. Okay, and how about Abby?
I've heard of Fund My Future. I work with Liz at the Human Services Center, so we've partnered with you a couple times now.
Okay, great. Maureen?
Hello. Yes, I was here for the seminar last week too, so you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you're back again, so I know that you're already enrolled. Okay. And Meredith?
Hey, everybody. I was not here last week. I had a work meeting, but as I mentioned in the chat, I've got an almost 5-year-old, and I don't know what the heck to do. So I don't have a lot of money to invest at this point. But I know that I need to start something, and so I'm really excited to have the opportunity to learn what are the options at this point.
Okay, great. Thank you, Meredith. And Alexandra, I know you're familiar with Fund My Future. You were here last week, but go ahead and introduce yourself and, you know, tell us what you're here for today.
Oh, hey, yeah, my name's Alex, and yeah, I have 2 children in Propel. One of them is already enrolled in the Fund My Future program, and I'm trying to get my kindergartner enrolled in too.
Okay.
To get more information.
Okay, Alexandra, can you do me a favor and message me your, you know, just send me a direct message with your phone number. Okay?
Okay, yes, I'll do that right now.
Okay, great. All right, awesome. So now we're going to get right into the program. Those of you who did not get a chance to enroll in Fund My Future, you'll be able to do that real quick, I'll give you a real condensed version of Fund My Future, and then I will introduce our guest presenters. So Fund My Future, we're a children's savings program. We've been around since 2013 at Propel Schools. That is where it started at. Now we have expanded to the county. We're a countywide program. And then in February of 2020, we became a statewide program. We partnered with the state, and Kelly would tell you more about all the resources available. There's a lot of resources, a lot of resources. Thank you, Alexandra. But before you move on to Anna and Kelly, what I want to make sure is that everyone on here is enrolled in Fund My Future. And Fund My Future is real simple. You don't need any money to enroll. It's just think of it as we're going to be your reminder. We're going to be the place where you get your prizes from. We're going to be the ones that call you and say, congratulations, you're a $1,000 winner. So that's basically what we do. We just want to keep you thinking about saving, okay? So we want to get that part done, and you could do that, you know, as we're transitioning into the webinar. So the first thing you want to do is go to fundmyfuturepa.org. That's fund, F-U-N-D, myfuturepa.org. All right, thank you, Meredith. And you just want to go in there, follow, put your email, and just follow the prompts. And hey, look, just because I'm feeling good, guess what? The first person that puts in the chat, if I see you put in the chat that you're done, and I'll be able to see it. I got a computer screen right here. I'll be able to see when you're done, okay? I just want to let you know. Let me know you're done, and you'll be getting some Fund My Future swag mailed to your home, okay? Everybody loves Fund My Future swag. And then you'll get a chance to win $1,000 or 50, but you could probably win 1,000. And then you'll be eligible to get our Spotlight newsletters, and you will be in the network of folks who are saving. So I'll wait for you to, I'll give you a chance to do that. And now I'm gonna just go ahead on and get into our presentation. As you do that, don't forget to put into the chat, I took the pledge, I'm done, or whatever. And then we'll just mail everything to the address on file that's in the system once you enroll. Thank you for joining. And up first, let me get the slides ready. Just give me 1 second. Oh, Corbett is done. I love it. I love it. Wait a minute. Hold on. And I'm going to call you out because I love to do that. Okay, Corbett, you will be getting your swag in the mail. Look for it in the mail. And when you get it, take a picture of it, post it on Facebook, and say, I got my swag, okay? Say it. Awesome. Meredith, oh my God, Meredith did it too. I'm trying to get y'all over the Commonwealth, but you guys are awesome. Okay, same thing, Meredith. Go to our Facebook page is Fund My Future PA. That's Fund My Future PA. It's real simple. Fund My Future PA, and just say, I got my swag. Take a picture of it. Trust me, you're gonna love the swag. All right. Thank you all for taking the pledge. And now I am going to share the slides. Just give me 1 second. And oops, what happened? We just went through this. So before I share the slides, maybe that was my little cue. Before I share the slides, I want to introduce Anna Frank. Let me do this first. Anna Frank, she's going to be presenting on First Commonwealth Bank. And then next you're going to hear from Kelly Davis, and she's going to present from the Pennsylvania Treasury. So Anna and Kelly, can you both introduce yourself, please? Anna first.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, thanks for being here. This is by far the most fun I have today. Even though I'm not the recipient of the swag, it is always a delight for me to spend time with Tony and Kelly and all of the Fund My Future partners. So I am the Financial Education Coordinator at First Commonwealth Bank. And I'll talk about our bank in just a few sentences in a minute. But We as a bank and me personally have been partnering with Tony for a long time now. We love Fund My Future so much. And for Meredith, and who said that she doesn't necessarily know where to start, well, congratulations, Meredith, you're doing the right thing. You're thinking about it, and you're gonna make sure you've enrolled in it, right? You enrolled in Fund My Future, so you are absolutely on your way. And the great thing is you have time. You have time with that little one. So everybody who's here today, you are all interested in saving, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of your children for taking the action today. The whole point of Fund My Future and what we like to do at First Commonwealth and all the great stuff that you're going to hear about from Kelly is designed to make it simple and just get you in the habit. Small amounts add up over time. So that being said, let me turn it over to Kelly.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you. That was a great intro. So my name is Kelly Davis, and I work with Pennsylvania Treasury. And I am a field representative who goes around, kind of informs everyone in Pennsylvania about the programs that Treasury offers. We've partnered with Tony once the state partnership and Fund My Future went together, and it's been doing great ever since. We've really enjoyed working with her and the rest of the Fund My Future staff and getting to know everybody. And hopefully you will take a lot of information from today and sign up and learn more.
All righty. Thank you so much, Kelly. I am now going to share the screen, and now I'm going to share First Commonwealth slides. You should be able to see it.
You know what, Tony? I think it's because we just went through the presentation. So if you go to the very bottom of your screen, the very, very bottom, you'll see there's a little slideshow icon.
Yes.
Keep going over, over, one more.
Right
That's
here?
it. Yep, click that one.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. So you can just go to the next slide. Like I already said, hi everyone, my name is Anna Frank. And for those of you who do not know First Commonwealth Bank, we are a community bank. We are headquartered in Indiana, Pennsylvania, which is where I'm coming to you from today. We got quite a bit of snow here. It's a winter wonderland. Hoo-hoo. Sense my enjoyment. I grew up in South Africa, so I'm definitely wasn't used to the Western Pennsylvania winter when I grew up, but I've been living here for more than 2 decades now, so you would think I would be used to it by now. But it might be cold outside, but it is warm in my heart because we're talking about one of my absolutely favorite topics. And if you want to go on to the next slide, please, Tony. You will see, and you can just click through my 4 little icons here. So at First Commonwealth, our mission, as you see on the bottom of the slide there, the whole reason why we exist is to improve the financial lives of our neighbors. And we do that by helping people become more financially confident. Now, financial confidence is a journey, right? We're all at different places in the journey, and that's fine. But ultimately, we want to help you manage the money that you make, save the money that you want, borrow only what you need, and then work together to protect your money and protect your assets. But of course, today, the most fun thing we're going to talk about is savings. So if you would like to go on to the next slide, please, Tony. There we go. This is the type of thrill that you get as a financial education coordinator. You make things spin around in your PowerPoint presentation. All right, so you can just go on to the next slide, please, Tony. So I'm going to talk in a minute about a specific savings account that would be a good fit for Fund My Future, which of course is helping you save for the young people in your life. But I thought I would just take 2 minutes to talk about saving in general. And if you just want to click through the 3 little pictures here, Tony, that's great. Thank you. So the keys to saving, the success to saving is the first and foremost, we got to find money to save, right? Because if you're anything like me, you don't at the end of the month look at your bank account and say, boy, I got all this extra money left. What am I going to do with it? Maybe I'll save some of it. If you're like me, there's never, like, if I just wait until the end of the month to find money to save, well, I never find it because I always spend it. So the good news is you don't need a lot of money to save. sometimes people feel like, well, I just don't have enough money to save. I'm here to say you need $1. You need $1 to save. That's all you need for Fund My Future. Make one deposit for at least $1 and you are entered to win fabulous prizes. So, and if you can find $1, can you maybe find $5 or $10? And if you're starting to say, well, where's that money coming from? I just want to encourage you to take an honest look at where the money is going. So you don't have to track every penny that you spend for the rest of your life. But if it's really hard for you to find that money to save, maybe just take a look and track for a month, like, where am I spending my money on? Is it, how much do I really need to spend at the grocery store? How much do I really need to spend on some fun stuff? I'm not saying don't spend money on fun stuff. I'm just saying be honest and take a look at where you're spending. And if you can just cut back a little bit and then hang on to that money to save, well, then that's a real easy habit to get into. So the second key is open an account. And you're going to say, well, duh, you're a banker. Of course you're going to say open an account. Fair, true, I am, and I will. But you also need an account for Fund My Future. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you about our Tower Savers account. But honestly, my whole goal here is for you to open an account somewhere. If it's with us, fantastic. If it's with the PA Treasury, great. If it's with another bank or a credit union, equally wonderful. I want you to save, and I want you to take advantage of the great stuff of Fund My Future. But all of that aside, as if all of that is not enough good reasons, it is really easy, again, if you're anything like me, to spend the money that you're trying to save if you kind of keep it all together. So if I just keep everything in my checking account, if I look at my checking account balance, my mind says, oh yeah, you can spend that money. Like, the balance is there. I know my bills are paid. So if I just look at the balance, I don't always think about my savings goals. Whereas if I have my savings completely different or in a completely different account from the account where I keep my regular money, it's easier for me to leave it alone. And the last key that I really want to encourage you to do is to set it up so that every month automatically money goes into that savings. You have seen, those of you that met Tony before know, and those of you who just met her today, saw how excited she is about this. And one of her favorite things in the world is letting people know that they won some of the fabulous prizes. And one of the things that breaks her heart most, if she lets somebody know, hey, you won, and that person forgot to make the deposit that month. It breaks Tony's heart. We don't want to break Tony's heart because we care about her. So for Tony's sake and also for your own, just set it up so that automatically every month, even if it's just a couple of dollars, gets deposited into that account. 3 wonderful things are going to happen. 1, when Tony calls you and said you won, you're going to say, great, I made my deposit on the 15th or whenever it is. Number 2, your money's going to add up over time. That is the one of the great things about savings. It's just small amounts add up over time. And number 3, you are just going to get in the habit of saving. And if you can get real good with saving consistently for Fund My Future, what else can you potentially start saving for? Are there now other goals that you can think like, okay, well, you know what, this Fund My Future stuff, it's happening every month. It's not causing me heartburn. I can still do fun things. I can still work my budget. But if you get really good at it, then the sky's the limit with what else you can save for. Okay, on to my second to last slide. So we do have a Tower Savers account. Thank you, Tony. So it's specifically designed to help young people save, and you can just keep clicking through here. So you don't need any money to open it with today, but we do need you to put in at least $1 in the first 45 days. So the sooner the better. It does not have a monthly fee. So you don't need to maintain like a minimum balance in there in order to avoid a fee. You'll of course get a free statement, and also you'll be able to access this account on your First Commonwealth app. So if you are already a First Commonwealth client, like somebody said in the chat, thank you. If you have if you open up your Tower Savers account, you'll be able to see it right on your app. You'll be able to make your deposits right on your app. You'll be able to check your balance. You'll be able to access your statements that you will provide to Tony once you won. So it's really, really easy for you to access the money. If you have questions about your bank's app, and you know what, every bank out there has an app. I've not yet met a bank this sanctuary that do not have an app. If you have any questions about it, pick up the phone and talk to your bankers. I assure you that no matter what bank that you bank at, bankers love talking about their stuff, their accounts, their apps. So if you have any questions about that, just ask your banker. You'll make their day. All right, so how can you open up a Tower Savers account? Well, if we go to my last slide, please, Tony. You can certainly open it up online. So if you go to our website, which I'm throwing in the chat right now, you will see a little button on there, very easy to find. You can open an account, so you can do that. Another option would be to go to one of our branches. In these pandemic times, we do ask that you call and make an appointment. You can also schedule an appointment online now. So if you don't know which branch is closest to you and you don't want to like do all that work, just again go to fcbanking.com, the same website I just put in the chat, and schedule an appointment online. You will just put in where you are, you'll put in what day and what time you want to go, and somebody will get in touch with you and say, hey, will it work for you to go to that branch at the waterfront or wherever at such and such a time. Or if you think, listen, lady, it is winter time, I don't want to leave my house, or I'm busy, or if I have kids, you can also, if you take a look at the last one, please, Tony, call the bank. We have a special team of bankers. Their whole entire job is to answer the phone all day and open accounts over the phone. So the number is right on there, 1-844-711-BANK or 711-2265. And if you are interested, I also have like a shorter version of this, just a PDF with all this information on there that I will share with Tony and she can share with you. So yeah, you just call them. You will need to have with you, as you're making this call, you would need your ID, you would need to know the child's information, what specific information you would need. If you're not sure, call the bank, they will tell you. And they will just ask you questions over the phone, and then they will email you some documents that you have to sign, and they'll also just tell you what else you need to do. So good news, you don't have to dig out your card to go anywhere. You can just either go online or you can call them. But if you do want that face-to-face stuff, we'll be happy to see if you make an appointment. Okay. I feel like I went long. I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry, Kelly, but I'm done. I'm done. Other than questions, what questions does anybody have? Feel free to take yourself off mute or throw it in the chat. Saving, yay, it's awesome. Wherever you want to save is a great place to save, in my humble opinion. Okay, so if you're still thinking like, how do you want to phrase the question, that's perfectly fine. Elizabeth promised to keep an eye on the chat, so you can throw questions in there. You can also get in touch with me. I will put my email and phone number in the chat here, but at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Tony.
Great. All right. So now you heard everything about First Commonwealth Bank from Anna. And as always, I love to give away swag. Okay. So you have to be enrolled in Fund My Future. You have to have taken the pledge in order to receive the swag, because we will mail it to the address that we have in the system. So before we move on to Kelly, I like to make sure that everyone was paying attention. So here's your chance to get some swag. I have a question. Here we go. The first person with a fund who is enrolled in Fund My Future, and you know the answer to this question, put it in the chat. Or unmute yourself. No. The first person to unmute yourself. This is where you'll get to unmute yourself and say the answer. All right? First person, but you got to be enrolled in Fund My Future. If you're not enrolled, you still can enroll. So if you're not enrolled, you can still get enrolled before this is over, and you will get Fund My Future swag. Here we go. What are the 3 ways? This is from what Anna said. What are the 3 ways to open an account at First Commonwealth Bank? First person, come on, unmute yourself. Unmute.
You have to go online, or you could call the number to schedule an in-person visit. So wait, so far I said go online.
Yeah, I'm going to rule that you said both of them, because you can call the number to schedule an appointment or to open it right there over the phone. So you got the three: online, in person, or over the phone. Tony, what do you think?
All right, Alexandria, you get the Fund My Future swag. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, pay attention because you get a chance to get some swag. Alexandria, you got your swag for the day. We still got more swag. So the next swag is going to come from Kelly's presentation. Pay close attention because you never know what question I'm going to ask. And you can get some swag, okay? All right, so, and if you haven't joined Fund My Future, just go to fundmyfuturepa.org. You still have a chance to join. It's universal, it's for everyone. You don't have to necessarily be involved in a program or anything. Anyone can join, anyone, as long as you got connections to a kid. All righty, so next presentation that I am going to pull up, and I'm probably gonna have to do the same thing that I did before. Thank you for that heads up, Anna. All right, let's see now. And I think this is where I got, there we go. Anna done taught me something. Thank you, Anna. I'll put the check in the mail. Okay, so now it's time for Kelly. Thank you.
All right, everyone. So I'm going to go through a lot of information here. So hopefully you pay attention so you can earn some swag here from Tony. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Information is at the end. My name's Kelly Davis, and I'm one of the field representatives here in Treasury. Next slide, please.
Sure, and you know what, I just also wanted to throw out there too, you can put your questions in the chat as well, and Elizabeth will be more than happy to ask the question as we go along. So if there's a question that comes up, we will stop so that we can answer it for you, okay? Because we want to make sure that you totally understand. Don't hesitate to put a question in, and we will pause. All right, sorry about that, Kelly.
No problem. Okay, so Pennsylvania Treasury has 3 different programs that we offer to kind of accelerate your saving for the future. So we have the Pennsylvania 529, which is a college savings program, or an education savings program, I should say. We also then have the Keystone Scholar Program, which is our newest of the 3, and that is where you have a baby or adopt a baby in Pennsylvania. You are awarded $100 right at birth, and that money goes in and is invested for saving for college. This started in 2019. It is moving forward. So every single baby gets it. It's $100, and it's to kind of jumpstart and get your mind thinking about that education in the back, you know, get that on the forefront. We also then have the PA ABLE program. That is for individuals with disabilities. It allows you to save without affecting your benefits. So I'm going to go ahead and say next slide and try to get through all of this for you. So as you know, education is a powerful tool. So it opens the doors for many possibilities for yourself and your children, and it gives your families the confidence to succeed over life. So it's just kind of a roadmap for a secure future. Next slide, please. This is the scary slide. The cost of education is high. We know that. This is just simply showing what it costs today, 10 years down the road, and 20 years down the road, what that'll be. So if you're like me, I heard someone say they have a close to 5-year-old. I have a 5-year-old. So we're looking at those far numbers on the far right-hand side, and those are scary. So we obviously don't have $156,000 per year lying around. So why not chip away at that money? And that's what we're here to kind of discuss. Next slide, please. Children who know that they have a savings account in their names are more likely to go to school. It's a proven fact. Studies show that almost they're almost 6 to 7% more likely to go to school than those that do not have a savings account in their name. So just kind of information there for you to think on and keep that in the back of your mind. Next slide, please. So first we're going to talk about the Pennsylvania 529 College and Career Savings Program. Next slide. This is a great program that allows you to use for a lot of different expenses and a lot of different places. So anything mandatory by the university or college, trade school is considered a qualified expense. So that's tuition, mandatory fees, computers, books, special needs. If you are have like an elementary school or even high school student, you can now use these for tuition at any public or private schooling that you have, religious school. So up to $10,000 per year in tuition you can now use for different apprenticeship programs. And brand new, starting in 2019, if you took a loan out in 2019 or since then, you can now actually use your 529 to pay back on loans. That is something that previously you weren't able to do, but now you are. There is a lifetime limit of $10,000, however, so you can use up to $10,000 in your 529 to kind of pay back on that. All right, next slide. I think really why people choose to do 529 plans is for these things listed here, all the tax benefits. The first one is especially interesting because you get a state tax deduction. It is state-only tax deduction, but everything you contribute into a 529 plan, up to $15,000 per year per child, you can write off of your state income taxes. So I know I just dropped my tax information off last night to our tax preparer, and I was like, hey, got my 529 here. I put money away. Let's make sure to write that off. So you too can do that. If you are filing jointly, that does double to $30,000 per year, as long as you both have taxable income. Another main reason is that the earnings grow state and federally tax-free, and there's no fee at all for withdrawing the money. It can be used in state or out of state. It's a common misconception of 529s that you have to go to school in Pennsylvania. You don't. You can go to any school as long as it's a eligible school. Eligible meaning that it participates with financial aid and recognized by Department of Ed. There's no income or age restrictions that other saving vehicles often require or have limitations on. We don't have any of those. And for financial aid treatment, it's often a question we get. When you are applying for financial aid, you apply for both state and federal. For federal aid, it is considered a parental asset, which is a whole nother discussion that you'll get into when your children are older, but not the 529 in its entirety. Only a little less than 6% is what is counted as an asset. So it's not going to affect you much. And again, that's for federal aid only. I will tell you, federal aid is heavily, heavily weighted towards income, not on your assets. State aid, on the other hand, if you're a Pennsylvania resident putting into the Pennsylvania 529 plan, it will not be counted at all. It's actually taken out of the deduction altogether. If you're a Pennsylvania resident putting into an out-of-state plan, then it will be considered part of an asset for you. So again, PA resident into PA plan, not looked at. PA resident into out-of-state plan will be looked at for state aid. Then we do have different programs that we offer down at the bottom that can help kind of accelerate your earning potential. They're very similar to frequent flyer miles and just earn money as you go. The Sage Scholars is for participating private schools. So some of those would be Lehigh, Duquesne, Villanova, King's College, just to name a few. And You Promise is simply for when you can register your credit card, debit card, even your little bonus cards. And when you're buying participating products, a portion of that goes into the fund and then sweeps over into your 529 plan. Next slide, please. All right, so first we're going to talk about the Guaranteed Savings Plan. This one's a little bit different. It used to be called the TAP program. This is where you're keeping pace with tuition inflation. So it's very easy to open with a minimum of $10 to open an account. It's one of the lowest to open a 529s in the country, and it's now just $10. We have extremely low fees, some of the lowest in the country as well, managed by Pennsylvania Treasury, and we're over 130% fully funded. You cannot find that in many investments. So we are doing extremely, extremely well, which is how some of these other pilot programs and programs that we're working on have come kind of to light. Next slide.
Hey, Kelly, it's Elizabeth. We've got a question in the chat, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Meredith is asking that when her daughter was born, her mom opened a 529 account for her. Because of compounding interest, is it smart of her to open one on her own on her daughter's behalf, or to contribute to the one that's already open?
So that's really up to you. So whoever's listed as the account owner is in complete control of the account. So let's say you put money into this account that your mother, the grandmother, had opened, then the grandmother, I should say, your mother has all ownership properties for that. They are able to do anything that they want. It's up to you if you wanted to open up a second one or if you wanted to keep your own one. There's not really a benefit over selecting one over the other. It's just if you want to have the control and you want to be able to choose which investments or which options you choose, then you can choose versus your mother, but really doesn't matter too much. And I'll get into with financial aid, if your mother owns it, the year after your daughter uses it, then it will look as earnings for your daughter. So let me repeat that. When you're using money out of the 529 plan and the account owner is not the parent, the year after it is used, it looks as additional income to the student. The student, most times that won't be too much of a big deal, just because most students aren't making $100,000 going to school full time, doing all that kind of stuff, but it will look as earnings for the student. So it's really just whichever one is best for you. We can't give out financial advice on that. You may want to contact somebody like a financial planner or somebody just to kind of go over that with you. Of course, I'm sure somebody at Anna's bank would be able to help you with that as well, or anyone really. We can't give out that financial advice as to which one is better, but there are definitely options available for you to do whichever one you feel is best for you.
And if I can just interject real quick, I just want to add that in regards to Fund My Future, the person enrolled, whoever signed up for Fund My Future and took the pledge, that is the person, that is whose name needs to be listed on the savings account in order to be able to claim your prize. So if you were to win, let's say right now, the way everything is right now, if your ticket was to be a winning ticket, we would notify you. And if you were to notify your mom to get the account, the statement, then you would not be a winner because you're not the one who has the account for the child. Now, your mom is eligible, she can definitely join Fund My Future, of course, but for Fund My Future purposes, the account has to be in the adult's name and the child's name. All right.
All right, so just going back to the slides here, just wanted to show you the actual tuition inflation, so how much college has gone up over the past 5 years. You can see that listed there. Our lowest here is around 5% for Penn State, which routinely is one of our highest that goes up every year. Last 5 years have been a little different with tuition, with the pandemic, with a lot of things going on. So just showing you that your money still will grow. It still will keep pace with tuition inflation. Next slide, please. All right, now we're going to talk briefly the investment plan. So we have 17 different options, all offered from Vanguard here in Pennsylvania, just to allow you to choose which is the best option. Again, we have $10 minimum to open, so very low fees. We actually received recently a Morningstar Silver Medal, which considers us to be best in class. Here, we are actually one of 14 that are rated in the country in either the gold or silver. There are some in bronze as well, which we used to be. Now we've moved up to silver. We're very happy about that. So we're just very excited to know that The assets in the investment plan are now over $4 billion. So we just reached that benchmark, and a lot of people doing the investment plan and the guaranteed plan. It's just a matter of risk tolerance. This one is subject to the markets, of course, but you can ride that ride along with the markets as you see fit. So, all right, next slide, please. So breaking down savings into 4 easy steps makes it a little bit more comprehensible, makes it a little more real. So to open an account, you just go to pa529.com and you make your minimum contribution. That could be anywhere from $10 up to $511,758. And no, that number was not randomly selected. That is actually how much it costs to attend University of Penn for 4 years and 2 years at Wharton Business School, also at Penn. So $500,000 is considered the most expensive education that you can receive here in Pennsylvania, and it's one of the highest in the country. So obviously, most of us, I'm going to go ahead and say all of us, because we're working, most of us here do not have $511,000 lying around. So we have to do number 2. We have to make contributions, kind of chip away at that number. So you can make a contribution however you see fit, whether doing that automatically out of your bank account, whether doing that payroll deduction, sending it in at holiday time. Maybe you get a tax return this year. Maybe there's a 3-pay month, maybe birthday time, holiday time, whatever you want to put money in. There's no strict guidelines. It's for you, so whatever you're able to do. Then you maintain the account. It grows with either tuition inflation or the investment plan, depending upon which you allocate, which you choose. And then lastly, as I mentioned, the account owner pays and uses it. So they decide how much they want to use out of the account, where they want it to go, and when they want it to go, basically directing us, hey, I need my tuition paid, send it here, and this is how much. Next slide, please. So as Anna had mentioned, saving a little bit of money over time will in fact add up. They say that if you put as little as $25 per month away from the time a child is born, you will have more than $10,000 once they reach the age of 18. Now, $10,000 is probably not going to buy your college experience. That'll definitely help. And that will definitely help you borrow less. So making that commitment today will help you in the future. Next slide, please. All right, and now we're going to talk about the Keystone Savings Plan and the PA Pledge. Next slide. Excuse me. All right, so the Keystone Scholar Program, it is a Get Started program. And this is why we created Keystone Scholars for every baby born in Pennsylvania, starting in 2019. The purpose is to help new moms and dads start to save for their baby's education as early as possible. Savings adds up over time, as we just saw in that last slide. We want to convey that the Commonwealth leaders believe in the future of your children and really support this program. Saving early can help children get off to a good start, and research supports the value of these early child savings accounts with the benefit to the children. Next slide, please. So we're going to start with Keystone Scholars. It's a $100 Get Started deposit. Newborns automatically qualify. It's an opt-out program, so everybody gets this program. You can go online at any time to view your child's balance, and the $100 is going to grow. It is not going to be worth $100 when you go to use it. It may be worth $300, $400, $500, depending on how much the money grows and how much tuition inflation grows. So that's just kind of a little background there. Next slide, please.
Hey, Kelly, I want to interrupt you real quick again. So some people are asking for a little bit of clarification on how the Keystone Scholars Program works. So is it just for newborns, and when did that start? So if people have older kids, are they not qualified? Could you just give a little bit more information on that?
Sorry if I wasn't clear on that. So Keystone Scholars is for newborns. So it has to be a baby born in 2019 or to now, basically. It was not prior to 2019. So unfortunately, it just started and they went retroactive to the beginning of 2019. So if you had a baby in 2019, 2020, or expecting in 2021, then you would be able to use it. So it's really just $100 that every baby, once we get the information over from Department of Health, we put the baby's name, social security, and they have that $100 already locked away for themselves. And then there's a few follow-up things that you can read about on our website, which is there, pa529.com/Keystone. And you could go ahead and register your account so you're able to go on and view and see how much it's earning. You're able to go on and, you know, link that to a 529 plan to add additional money into an account that you want to create and that you want to establish as well. All right, next slide, please. All right, so all you do to enter is enter the child's birthday and you hit submit. And then moving on from there, you wait to receive some mail, again, from Department of Treasury that we receive from Department of Health, and we reach out to all the families, letting them know that you have this, and if you want to take advantage, here you go. Here's the next steps to go. It's very, very simple to do, and it's in order to access for everybody that has a baby since 2019. Next slide, please. And our newest addition is the Bright Future Booster. So this is providing additional $50 for babies born between January 1st and June 30th of this year. The mom must be registered for WIC while pregnant in order to be eligible. So if you know a mother that is currently on WIC and is expecting a baby during the first 6 months of this year, they're going to get $150 instead of everyone else that's going to get $100 that has a child. So it's just kind of to help support those mothers that are in need and that need to start thinking about that education as soon as the children are born. It may not normally be a conversation the first 6 months of the baby's birth, however, it should be. And we're really here just to report that the money is available and there is some programs out there to help. So it's $50 is automatically added to your $100 Keystone deposit. So that's the Bright Future Booster. It's currently set to run out after 6 months of this year. We're hoping to extend that, but as of right now, those first 6 months are the lucky winners. Next slide, please. All right, and we also have our partnership with Fund My Future. We have the PA Savings Pledge, which is you pledge to save. You're pledging to save money, and in doing so, you're entered in with Fund My Future to win some of those great prizes. So as we kind of briefly mentioned, you can go ahead and enter your information and enter to win. So you can either open an account with the bank, you can open a 529 plan, as long as you're doing some sort of savings and you initiate and designate that, then you'll be entered to win all of these programs and all of the swag that Tony has that everyone loves to receive and that she is so passionate about, and so are we. We just want everybody to be encouraged, and the incentive for families to save kind of entices you a little bit more. So that's our partnership with Fund My Future, and it's grown and it's continuing to grow, and we really love working with everybody there. Next slide, please. Just a little bit more about it. We have emails, text, and voicemail reminders that Tony initiates. Again, you can set it up credit union, bank, or 529, and the account must be in the child's name. So that account that Anna was just talking about would be a perfect option for you. 529 plans, while the account owner is the parent and the beneficiary is the child, you still can open it. It's still considered in your child's name. And we have raffles monthly. It's up to $5,000 a month up for grabs, and that's all divided. Winners must have made a deposit, no withdrawals in order to claim the money. And in order to take the pledge and say that you want to go ahead and do this, you go to pa529.com/PA-saves. You can also go to the website that Tony mentioned, the Fund My Future PA, and you'll be able to enter to win there as well. So either one of those will really work for you. All right, next slide, please. Okay, the Pennsylvania ABLE program. So this is a new program in 2018 that allows everybody to, I'll pop up. So the ABLE program is for individuals with disabilities. It allows you to save without affecting your federal means benefits. So prior to the ABLE account, you were only allowed to have $2,000 in assets while receiving SSI or SSDI. That's not very much. So the ABLE Act was created in order to allow for more savings. So now you can save up to $100,000 in an ABLE account, plus your $2,000 in an additional account, and still maintain and keep those benefits, which is huge for the disability community. Next slide, please. So this allows individuals with qualified disabilities and their families a tax-free way to save for expenses. These expenses will range. They can be basic living expenses, and they can be long-term expenses. So next slide, please. So what's nice with this is, again, tax advantages. Those are always a good point and always make people happy when you can save money on taxes. So you're protecting your PA state benefits. You also get that state tax deduction that I mentioned for the 529 plan. So all the money that you contribute into an ABLE plan up to $15,000 a year. Now this is marked at $15,000 per year. You're able to write that off of your income tax. So it is a state tax deduction. It's exempt from inheritance tax, and it's protected from creditors. So you can simply enroll by going to paable.gov, or you can give the customer service number a call, 855-529-ABLE or 2253, and we can mail you out a packet as well and get you that information. Next slide, please. So just a little bit more to kind of hit home what the points are, because unfortunately, not everybody is eligible. You have to have a qualifying disability prior to age 26. There is legislation out there to increase that, but right now it is earmarked and has been earmarked at age 26. So if you were born with a disability, if you got a disability somehow during your life up to age 26, you would qualify. If that disability happened after age 26, then that would not qualify. We do have 8 different investment options, one of those being a checking account option that you get a check card, you can get regular checks. The accounts can be used for a broad range of needs. Again, this is everyday living expenses, such as groceries, utility bills, saving for a vehicle with a lift if you're wheelchair bound, things like that. So it's really a great option for families that have a child to save long term. We're hearing a lot of families that are worried and wondering what's going to happen when they're no longer there to take care for their child. And that's simply what they're able to do and what they can do now. Next slide, please. Next slide. All right, and this is just wanted to conclude. I know a lot of information was covered there, but my name's Kelly Davis. You can feel free to email me if you have any questions. Our website